question, of course, is how can United follow that incredible treble?
The Holy Grail at last. The trophy that Old Trafford has craved for a generation. But if standing still is going backwards in football, how do Manchester United top their unique European treble? It's hard enough to win it. Much more difficult now to defend it.
If they win the double next year, it was a bad season, it's been a failure. They've got to win the treble again. And you can't see them doing that because next year the Champions Cup is so much harder because there's 17 matches you've got to play in that to win it. So, and with all the other international calls and the players, European matches, their own domestic situation is going to be very, very difficult.
First priority is a replacement for goalkeeper Peter Schmeichel. Alex Ferguson won't get acrobatics like this for £500,000. That was the amount that he paid Brondby to get the Danish Player of the Year back in 1991. Whoever replaces him could never repeat the end to his career. 399 appearances in all, and that unique treble top to finish with.
Schmeichel will be hard to replace because I think now Man United next season in the Premier League will be giving other clubs, Chelsea in particular and Arsenal, giving them 15 points start because that's what Schmeichel is worth to Manchester United.
And what will Teddy Sheringham do, the forgotten man of Old Trafford? The past 10 days have changed his life as much as he's changed the life of the United fans. As substitutes go, he's among the most effective. Ryan Giggs thinks this team can only get better. Key players are in just their first season, and he looks forward to more nights of Champions glory in front of the knight who was there when it all started.
Well, for years, Alex Ferguson said all he wanted to do was follow in the traditions of the great Sir Matt Busby, and after that amazing season, it might not be long now before it's Sir Alex as well.
To football fans the world over, Alex Ferguson at Manchester United means one long career surrounded by adulation. To those with short memories, that is. In 1986, when his achievements at Aberdeen won him the call to be United's fourth manager in a decade, success was far from preordained. Chairman Martin Edwards has admitted the board had the axe poised close to Fergie's head in 1990. Ferguson brought the fans and the board the FA Cup. The board kept faith. Good call. The following year, they won the Cup Winners' Cup against Barcelona of all teams, but it was Europe's greatest prize, the Champions Cup, he wanted most of all. In pursuit of that, he was sometimes brutal. Old favourites like Gordon Strachan were sold. Strachan, ironically, to Leeds, who pipped United to the Championship in 1992. That was a cruel blow, but a year later, in the first Premier League, Fergie had his title, United's first since the 60s, and the European Cup dream was on again.
Every time he got involved in Europe or getting into a European game, he suddenly got tenser and tenser, and it was his focal point, really. I mean, winning that first championship was the main thing, just to get into the competition. But actually, playing in Europe, he's got what he's wanted. It's taken him a long, long time.
The homegrown talent which realised the dream was carefully nurtured. Ryan Giggs protected from the media in his teenage days. Ferguson bought astutely too, never more so than in bringing Eric Cantona to Old Trafford. He made enemies.
I will love it if we beat them. Love it.
And he was just as abrasive at the end of this season when Dennis Irwin's red card and a debated Liverpool penalty cost Ferguson 2 vital points in the title race with Arsenal.
I think it's fair to say that we'd have won a game but for the referee. And we're just not going to let him deny us our opportunity to win this week. We'll recover from it.
He was right, of course. It all ended in smiles in the league, at Wembley and in Barcelona. The legend of Sir Matt will never be eclipsed, but Sir Alec, as he's surely bound to become, has earned an even bigger chapter in football history. Nick Powell, Sky News.
Well, it's hard to imagine that 9 years ago Fergie wasn't too far off losing his job at Manchester United. Back in 1990, he'd yet to win a trophy in nearly 4 years in charge at Old Trafford. But then a late goal in the FA Cup that year by a now forgotten player silenced the critics, and Fergie never looked back.
Mark Robin's medal collection isn't quite as extensive as Alex Ferguson and his former United teammates, but without him, Fergie would probably have been sacked long before creating the team of the 90s. At the start of the decade, United were hovering just above the relegation zone. And a tricky FA Cup tie away at Nottingham Forest was seen as a make-or-break game for Ferguson. Mark Robbins got the only goal.
He's not looked back since then, since that result. People pinpoint that as the day. I was speaking to somebody the other day who said that actually they'd called a press conference for after that game if they lost against Forest. But I didn't know anything about it. None of the players knew anything about that, and nobody will ever know now. Thankfully for Alex Ferguson and United, because he's an incredible manager. He's done absolutely superb things there, and long may it continue for them.
He went on to collect an FA Cup winners' medal that year, the first of 12 trophies that Ferguson has won in a decade sprinkled with silverware.
You could see his desire to win things straight away, and that rubbed off on the players, and over a period of time he's got the team together that he wants, and they all sort of reflect him.
While Ferguson is set to become Sir Alex, Mark Robbins is looking for work. He's just been released by Manchester City. Ian Woods, Sky News.